What if I told you there's an energy source that's clean, incredibly efficient, and has the power to light up the entire world? But most of it is just flowing by, completely unused. Okay, let's dive into this hidden ocean of power, small-scale hydropower.
First things first, let's get a handle on the problem we're trying to solve. The scale is just, well, it's staggering. Right now, more than 1 billion people on our planet live their daily lives without any access to electricity. 1 billion people. And a huge part of this challenge comes down to geography. You see, a lot of these communities are nestled in these beautiful but very remote rural areas. Trying to stretch a massive national power grid out to these places is incredibly difficult. It's expensive, and sometimes it's just not going to happen. But if you look closely at these exact landscapes, the solution is often flowing right through them.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter, the massive challenge of rural electrification. Because, having access to power isn't a luxury. It's the foundation for everything else, for fighting poverty, improving healthcare, and giving kids a chance at a better education.
Now, you might be thinking, well, what about other off-grid options? And you're right, they exist. Diesel generators are pretty common, but they're dirty and they run on expensive fuel. Solar panels, they're fantastic, but they only generate power when the sun's out, and the upfront cost can be a real barrier. So you start to wonder, what else is out there?
And this is where things get really interesting. This is where a small solution can have a truly massive impact. So let's talk about small-scale hydropower. Now, this isn't about building gigantic landscape-changing dams. Not at all. This is about harnessing the power of nature on a local, much more accessible scale.
So what do we actually mean when we say small-scale hydropower? Well, it's pretty much what it sounds like. It's generating electricity from flowing water, but with plants that usually have a capacity of up to about 30 megawatts. And you can go even smaller, with mini hydro and even micro hydro systems that are just perfect for powering a single community or a small town.
Okay, so why is this such a game changer? Let's just run through the list, because it's impressive. First, it's totally renewable. It's non-polluting. No nasty gases. These plants have an incredibly long lifespan with really low operating costs. And it's proven, reliable tech. But here's the real kicker. Its energy conversion efficiency can be over 90%. I mean, think about that. That is absolutely astonishing.
So, with all those amazing benefits, you'd think we'd be using this everywhere, right? Well, that brings us to the most surprising part of this whole story. This huge, untapped ocean of power just waiting for us all across the globe.
So take a look at this. This chart tells a pretty incredible story. Globally, there's a potential of about 217 gigawatts for small hydropower. But here's the crazy part. Look at this breakdown. Nearly 2/3 of that, a full 64%, is completely untouched. We've only developed about 1/3 of what's even possible.
Which, of course, begs the question, where is all this hidden energy? Where is the potential for growth the biggest?
Let's start with Africa, because the numbers here are just mind-blowing. Out of a potential of over 12 gigawatts, a staggering 95% of it remains untapped. 95%. Just stop and think about the kind of developmental impact we could have if we could unlock even a tiny fraction of that.
And it's not just Africa. Hop over to the Americas, and it's a very similar story. We're talking a huge potential of over 44 gigawatts, and 82% of it is just sitting there, waiting to be harnessed. The opportunity is just immense.
And look, this isn't just a story about a couple of regions. It's a truly global phenomenon. Asia has 58% of its potential untapped. Oceania is at 63%. And even in highly developed Europe, more than half, 52%, of the small hydro potential is still undeveloped. It's everywhere. All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now let's get into the how. How do you actually turn flowing river water into the electricity that powers your lights? Let's go from water to wire.
The basic concept is really, really simple. It's almost elegant. First, you just guide the flow of the water through an inlet. Step 2, that moving water spins a turbine, kind of like a pinwheel. And then step 3, that spinning turbine is connected to a generator, and voila, you've got electricity. That's really it. It's a principle we've been refining for over 100 years. And this is just such a great way to see how far we've come. On the left, you've got this massive pioneering machinery from the 19th century, and on the right, a modern, super compact, highly efficient system. The core idea hasn't changed, but the technology itself has become unbelievably sophisticated.
Now here's the thing. This technology is super adaptable. It is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal, and that's actually its superpower.
You use different kinds of turbines for different kinds of rivers. You've got Pelton turbines for really steep, high-pressure sites, Francis turbines for those medium drops, and then axial flow turbines for sites that have a lower drop but a lot more water volume. There's a tool for every job.
So all this technology is great, but what does it actually mean? What does it look like in the real world for people and for the planet? Let's talk about powering lives while also protecting nature.
Okay, let's look at this in action. This right here is the store-to-milk plant in South Africa. What's so cool about it is that it was installed at a dam that already existed. So without any major new construction, they added 4.4 megawatts of clean, renewable power to the grid. That's just smart. It's efficient and it has a real impact.
And it's not just about efficiency. Look at this plan in Greece. It shows how these modern facilities can be designed to just blend right into the landscape. This isn't about creating some industrial eyesore. The goal is to work in harmony with the environment.
And that idea of harmony is a huge focus of modern design. I mean, people often worry about the environmental side of things, and that's a totally fair concern. But today, engineers are developing things like fish-friendly turbines so local ecosystems can thrive, and they're using oil-free parts to prevent pollution. It's all about minimizing that environmental footprint.
This quote, I think, just says it all perfectly. Small hydropower plants are cost-efficient, environmentally friendly, and preserve fossil fuel resources. It's that powerful combination of all three that makes this so compelling.
Which brings us right back to our final thought. We know that 64% of the world's small hydro potential is just flowing by, completely unused. The technology is here. It's proven. The benefits are crystal clear. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, what's it going to take to turn this trickle of an opportunity into a flood of clean, reliable power for everyone?